Well, I'm Ed McCullough, and I've been a professional sculptor for most of my adult life, and taught quite a while. Columbia College in Chicago, Illinois Wesleyan, and as a matter of fact, just down the street, Bloomington Junior High, 4 years. I love to teach, but I love making art, and art finally won out.
I'm Gale McCullough, and I was born in Syracuse, New York, and I grew up mostly in Racine, Wisconsin. Moved to Bloomington in the early 70s, went to college here, both undergraduate and graduate. Met my husband at Wesleyan. Found a teaching job in Sisseton Park, Illinois, and I taught for 34 years. I'm retired. All my life I've done art, and I became a serious painter in, I would say, about 2000, year 2000. And I've been painting ever since.
I love collage. I love the directness of it. To pick up an object, I can remember as a child, 5, 6 years old, seeing something, picking it up, looking at it, examining it, cherishing it, putting it in my pocket. My mother would say, "Oh, I have to check the pockets because he collects things." There's something about the objectness of objects that just gets to me. I want to know, well, I'm just going to say it. I want to know what's there. And I thought I was oversimplifying things one time, and then I realized that I was reading some poetry. Who's the guy that?
W.S. Merwin.
W.S. Merwin. And
Poet laureate.
Poet laureate. And he says the same thing. I want to know what's there. And I thought, boy, there was a conjoinment there. And I don't know what I do when I find out what's there. I think there's so many levels of what's there. And I just, I never looked back.
Because I taught for so many years, I had to have a wide variety of mediums for each grade level and different projects, and I developed my own curriculum. So I vacillate mostly between oil painting and watercolor, but I also do collages as well, where I employ photographs of our dogs and create sort of unsuspecting environments that they don't necessarily have lived in, but I make it up. You can do that in art, you can make stuff up. And I just love nature my whole life. I've been one of those people that explores the woods, the creeks, the fields, and I think all of my work goes back to that time period in my life when I was impressionable and very creative, and tried to carry that through my life. Picasso said, most artists they should never grow up. They should always be a child, and that's what I try to do with my work. When I get, like I hit a dead end sometimes with oil painting, then I'll switch back to watercolor. And then that I have to relearn the whole thing again. And then that's always fresh for me, and then I'll hit a dead end there, and then I'll go back to oil painting. So it's how I keep my work progressing. So yeah, I have a lot of different interests. And then the dog portraits are just recent, because the two of us have been very interested in saving dogs. And for some reason, these dogs find us, and we rescue them. And if we don't keep them, then we try to find a good home for them. And I'm honoring each one of our dogs who has lived. And so far, just one portrait of each one. And our little dog that just died, Effie, she'll be my next portrait. But she might be several portraits. I might go back and do more portraits of all the dogs, because their personalities are so unique. So I take them very seriously. our animals.
There's a sculptor, he was from Eastern Europe, Roald Haig, who was working out of just north of New York City.
Woodstock.
Woodstock. I had loved his work, basically wood carving. And I was on my sabbatical leave from Wesleyan, and I was coming down and I this little road, and it said, Haig, Roald. And I thought, what?
Yeah, 1977.
77. I mean, the brakes went on. And I thought, oh, I got it. This is too much. I drove in, and this guy, he was like a saint. He came to the door and he said, come in. He said, are you Roald Haig? Well, I think so. I was there the rest of the day, and we sat in this little kitchen, and there was this window that these wild birds would come in. And he'd say, "Oh, they're there. Don't worry, they're my friends." They would fly around, they'd look at you, and they'd go back out. And I thought, this is a picture book story or something. You know, what is this happening to me? And I asked him some kind of, I don't know, basic questions, I guess. And he said, relax. So you like, you make sculpture? And I said, well, you know, what do you have any thoughts on the matter? You know, this is Roald Haig.
Okay, he said, you're really good. Now what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
You're really good. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, you know, jump off the cliff,
Yeah.
leave teaching, and take that risk.
Well, and it was not long after that I submitted my resignation. I really had to. Thank you, Gale.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, it was important. It was a turning
And I didn't
point.
look back.
It was a turning point.
And it's not that teaching is good, bad, right, wrong, or anything, but I needed to. He said, "You're really good. Now, what are you going to do about it?" Mm-hmm. And I think it was that point where my work really took off.
It is, and that was a turning point for me because I had just completed my master's thesis, and I really wanted to teach art. It was like really important to me. That's how I found the little job in Cissna Park. I went to the placement office at ISU, and they had big books. Went through these books, you know. No computers then. And Cissna Park, where's that? I had to get out a map. It was like, so it was perfect timing for both of us because Ed really needed to focus on his sculpture. I needed to put into practice what I had learned. And I wanted to educate kids. So it's a good time. Dramatic. I think art is a journey, and you can't force it. Plenty of people are born with talent, but I don't think that's what it's all about. I think it's the struggles and the challenges that every painting brings to you. And if it's too easy, why bother? So there's got to be a struggle to it, and I think it's okay for the viewer to see that journey that the artist takes and to know that it's a commitment. You know, you have to be dedicated. It has to be something that's inside you that needs to come out. And it's necessity, really, to create. And also, I want to add that as an artist, you have to respect the times that I would consider fallow times. And don't judge yourself. Don't get guilty about, oh, I haven't painted anything for 2 months. What's going on here? No, just allow those times to go through and come over on the other side and keep going. Just keep going.